Hey guys, it's me, Sujo over here. So I'm back with another video, and I thought of making this video for some time, and I just want to talk about, is there racial profiling here in Vietnam? So what do I mean by racial profiling? Okay, so firstly, racial profiling means treating certain people differently based on the color of their skin, or maybe nationality. So maybe, certain people get treated poorly and certain people get treated very nicely. Especially if you have fair skin, if you have white skin. So you can see that I have dark brown skin and I'm from India. And I just want to talk about my racial profiling experience here in Vietnam and why I think this is such a big problem. Um, so, if you're new to my channel, my name is Sue Joy. I've been living here for over 5 years now. I was an English teacher for 3.5 years, and now I run an online business. And I also do full time YouTube. So, if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. So I'm making this video for also for my Vietnam audience, because I want them to understand how I feel about this. Now, of course, I would be including many elements of racism which I have encountered here in Vietnam. I mean, not direct racism, but it's like a subtle racism, but you can feel it, you know it's very difficult for me to have a good day go by. Usually my days, on an average day, I do experience some form of racial profiling out here, like discrimination and all that. And I'm staying out here for over a year now in the countryside. It's like Long and location I stay. I rent a full apartment, a full house out here. But the neighbors with whom I also the neighbors, most of the neighbors who stay next to my home, they're all Vietnamese, but they don't want to talk to me. They don't want to communicate with me. They're not friends with me. Um, it's all because it comes down to the color of my skin. I'm a very friendly guy. I never had any issues whatsoever. But I have been kind of kept alone. Separated from the neighbors. I mean, like they don't want to communicate. No hello, nothing. It's a very sad situation because it's definitely very difficult for me, even when it comes to my mental health. I mean, definitely I do also have anxiety issues sometimes, but that's the reason why I take some short breaks from Vietnam and I go to some other country to heal my mental health status. So yes, it is predominantly very existing over here, the racial profiling, especially if you have dark brown skin or if you're a black person. Um, it's very much existing here in Vietnam in all walks of life. I know there'll be naysayers or people justifying down in the comment section below. Oh, this is just your perception. Oh, this is just your attitude. Oh, maybe you should fix your attitude. Oh, and there'll be a couple of white folks creating fake YouTube accounts with zero subscribers and commenting below, writing to me, "You prick, you low life, you piece of shit," and all that. Go back to your country. I've experienced a lot of trolls on my YouTube channel, all because when I like to talk about the reality. I like to talk about the reality here in Vietnam and also other parts of Southeast Asia. But primarily, I want to talk about Vietnam because, there is big existence of racial profiling and racism out here in Vietnam. I know most of you will feel no, but if you are staying in Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, Hanoi, even some parts of the countryside, like in Long An, all that. I mean, countryside people are usually nice, but uh, if you are if you are fitting a certain category of foreigners, so say for example, if you have fair skin, white skin, you can live very well in the countryside. You will be making a lot of friends. They will invite you for a lot of beer, drinks, and everything, hookups. They can, they could even, like they could even give their daughter to them to become a girlfriend or whatever. But I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, knowing that I'm a person of color, I know what are the challenges over here. Classic example of racial profiling would also be customer service here in Vietnam. Like whenever I go to any coffee shops here in Vietnam, so let's say Highland Coffee or Phuc Long or Katina, I always get a very bad customer service. They're the staff, the young people who work there, especially the girls, the Vietnamese girls. They are the ones who are actually very racist. And they are the ones who treat us very poorly. They do, like, they don't want to welcome you properly. They don't want to assist you with the menu. They just are standing there and they're like, "Xin chào," like that. "Xin chào." That's a very rude way. And all the other Vietnamese people who are going to that coffee shop or whatever, they're getting a lot of attention, good attention. They're being treated very nicely. But like for me, if I go to these coffee shops like Highland Coffee and all that, I get treated very poorly. Um, Even like Circle K. So Circle K, if I go there, usually they greet everybody who comes to Circle K or whatever. But a person like me, or if a black man goes inside Circle K in Vietnam, they don't get the welcome, and they're always being stalked. I'm whenever if I'm trying to move around Circle K, I'll always have a female staff around me. She just wants to see that is this guy going to steal something, or maybe I can have two female staff, or like of Circle K. They're always around me. They always feel that this guy is going to steal something because he looks like a thief, just because of the color of my skin. And when I go to pay the money, it's just that the treatment which I get is also not very good. They're very rude in talking. Um, so it's a very sad reality that most of these most of these franchises here, like Highland Coffee, Circle K, they do a lot of racial profiling for specific foreigners. If you have black skin, brown skin, or if you're coming from India, you would get racial profiling. Um, Even like, let's talk about English teaching jobs here in Vietnam. Like, of course, I run a digital marketing online venture, which I'm pretty okay. I got my ass covered with that. But it's very difficult for a black guy or for a brown skinned guy, and even if you're from India, to get an English teaching job in Vietnam, especially in Ho Chi Minh City. um, and like these major centers, I won't name them, but they practice a lot of racial profiling, like for their hiring practices, or when they put these jobs on Vietnam teaching jobs and all those kind of things. They do a lot of racial profiling. It's very easy for a white man to get an English teaching job, even if he or she does not have a degree, and get the flight tickets done by the teaching company, accommodation, and everything. But the challenges faced by a black teacher and by a brown teacher here in Vietnam is not very good. Is really terrible. And the chances of success for a black and a brown skin guy, in an English teaching profession is like 2%. It's like 2 or 3%. Compared to the remaining 98% or 95%, which is predominantly given to white teachers. And they're not the best of teachers. Not all white teachers are the best of teachers. Not all white teachers know how to teach well in these schools. They don't know. Some of them don't know the art of teaching well. Some of them would go in the classroom and just start screaming around and punishing students right away, throwing them out of the classroom, or just physically, pulling out a student from the classroom and taking him or her to the vice principal or to the disciplinary office. I've seen that. I've seen these things when I used to teach in public schools before. I taught there for 3.5 years in public school, and the teaching companies, they don't do anything about it because they know the teacher is white, and it's good business. I mean, it's the racial profiling here in Vietnam is deeply rooted in the Vietnamese society. So, say for example, I feel sad, like when I see these Vietnamese parents sending their children to school and brainwashing their children that the teacher, if it's a white teacher, be very nice to that teacher. If it's a black teacher or if it's a teacher from India, don't give too much respect. So it's like spreading poison. It's like spreading poison to the younger Vietnamese generation. I'm not saying all. I mean, even I'm very worried about the Gen Z population here in Vietnam. Because like I have interacted with a few university students here in Vietnam, like UTech and all that. But it's just that most of them, they're very arrogant. They're kind of, like I see them in the coffee shop sometimes if I go, most of these university students and everything. Um, and the kind of hateful look they give to me when they see a guy like me sitting in a coffee shop with my computer. They roll their eyes, they think they're some kind of superior human beings, and I'm some kind of a piece of shit. I don't want to talk about the position. I don't want to talk about the Indian economy because I'm Ando. I don't want to talk about the Indian economy, how powerful India is compared to Vietnam. They don't know about this, and I don't want to go and teach economics or politics to everybody. I mean, teach economics or whatever. They don't know, like, we are very strong in defense and all that. Anyways, I don't want to talk about that, but it's just that um, racial profiling is very much there in every aspect of the Vietnamese society. Take for example dating. Majority of the Vietnamese girls, they prefer dating white foreigners over a black skin or a dark skinned foreigner. I've had many instances, like if I want to meet a Vietnamese woman for a cup of coffee or something, they will come up with some excuse, man. They will be like, "Oh, I'm busy right now. Let's do that next week," or "I'm going to my hometown." Um, so, and okay, so these are online. Even though I get matches on Tinder and Badoo, and I do get likes on these dating sites, but the reality is they're not prepared to meet a black person or a brown skinned person in face to face. They have these kind of thoughts that we are into shady business or we are low life foreigners. So that kind of racial profiling is there, I mean, I would love the neighbors out here in this place where I'm staying to come up to me and personally apologize for how they're mistreating me for over a year now. Of course, I don't give two flying fucks about that, but what I feel sad is that the parents actually pass it on to their children, and this is like a chain reaction, and it doesn't get better. Okay, it really doesn't get better. um, and especially like if you're a black person or a brown skinned person in Vietnam, you would be monitored more here. People will the local Vietnamese here, they'll keep a close watch on you. Maybe some people try to set you up or something. They keep a close watch on you. And it's just like every day, man, you're surrounded by enemies. I'm not saying that you feel like you're surrounded by enemies and you got to fight the war. And of course, I come to Vietnam giving love. I'm pure love out here. But um, what pisses me off is that people in the comment section try to justify that, oh, I'm wrong, or it's my attitude, or somebody creating fake accounts, some white dude creating fake accounts, or white old man or white fat guy creating a fake account and writing all smack about me, trying to make me feel bad emotionally. But that strategy does not work, because instead of addressing the real situation, they feel that, oh, I'm white, so I really don't need to watch those kind of videos about the challenges of a black man in Vietnam or the challenges of an Indian guy in Vietnam. I'm white, I'm enjoying the luxury lifestyle. I can walk into any five-star restaurant or any sports bar wearing my tank tops, looking shady, and just because my skin is white. But if I like, for me, like, if I'm going to wear a tank top and go to all these sport bars and all, I'll be treated poorly. Even in Buivian Street, there's a lot of racial profiling. I mean, it's very difficult. I try to go and sit and have a beer over there. Like, say, if I want to go to a proper joint and sit and have a beer, I would be racially profiled. I would be treated poorly. They just bring the beer, and after 2, 3 minutes, they're just moving around me. I mean, I would have three, four guys standing right in front of me, waiting for me to finish my beer, waiting for me to get the fuck out quickly. I'm just sitting out there watching people walk by, listening to loud music. But, even if I want to have a burger and a beer over there, I'll have three, four Vietnamese dudes around me because, man, I got a lot of money in my wallet. I'm going to pay for it. Don't worry. But they make you feel so uncomfortable. They make you feel so uncomfortable that, you feel like, you're not enjoying your time, that, you just got the beer and you got to quickly finish and leave. Man, that's not the way how it needs to work. I mean, Buivian Street, of course, a lot of racial profiling. Predominantly, it is. I mean, Buivian Street is basically for white foreigners and for Koreans, Japanese. Yes, Koreans, Japanese, they do get good treatments here in Vietnam because of political reasons. Because Korea and Japan, they're helping Vietnam with infrastructure, with the metro and all that, and also a lot of these Japanese workers and all that. They get a lot of good treatments. They hang around Japantown and have a nice massage and whatever. But I've seen like my fellow men, like Indians, in District 1, being shouted at, being talked rudely, or like I've been treated this many times, like, go away, as if I'm some kind of a stink. So yeah, it's a sad reality, man. I mean, racial profiling, racism very much exists in Vietnam, and I really don't care how much you try to justify. It's a long road. So even like, if you even when I land to in Vietnam, like I see most of these immigration officers when they see an India passport or an African passport, they will take more time to read the passport. And basically it's just that make you stand there more compared to a white foreigner who's having a Western passport, European passport, or whatever. Just within less than a minute, they get their passport stamped, and But I've seen these kind of mistreatments of Indians here at immigration offices. I mean, they don't ask questions, but they make you stand there long. I remember the situation happened to me once when I was crossing um, Cambodia to Vietnam by land border, Mukbai. Oh man, that immigration officer, he made me stand there for 10 minutes, and just he was wasting his time flipping my pages. It's just that, and I have had certain immigration officers, they take my passport and just smack it on the table, or, mistreat the passport. Yeah, that's the start of a racial profiling. And I would say that's racism right there. I mean, how would you like that if in India, our immigration officers treat Vietnamese passport like that? Of course, Indian passport ranks higher compared to Vietnamese passport in the global passport ranking index. So it's more powerful. And how would you like that if Vietnamese are being racially profiled when they visit India? Treated poorly, getting the bad of customer service. That's not our nature back home. We are a very friendly country, and we try to be more friendly with foreigners. I've had situations that um, my fellow people are more friendlier and nice to foreign nationals, even Africans or whatever, compared to an Indian. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, this is something which is going to take a long road, and that's the reason why I'm addressing these sensitive issues which nobody likes to talk about. Because I have to bring the reality. Like if you're a black guy, or if you are a brown skinned person, or if you have dark brown skin, and if you're coming from India, you need to understand. You need to also understand the reality. Of course, if you're coming for a short stay for a week or two, that's all right. But if you're going to be staying here for over a month, or you're coming with that 90-day visa or whatever, you would be encountering subtle racism and racial profiling. You would be also experiencing poor customer service and rude way of, and being rude. And what really pisses me off is that many, like I would say most Vietnamese, they're very brash, and they're very rude sometimes. They just like, I've seen a couple of YouTube videos of some black girls being whooshed out from the shops like this, like we're stinks, or certain Vietnamese guys driving motorbikes and just coughing in front of somebody who's a black or a brown skinned foreigner. And that's one thing which really pisses me off. Like some certain Vietnamese people, guys, especially, they cough like like this cough. So I got a solution for that, because I do the tit for tat. So like if I go to a coffee shop and if I see that some certain Vietnamese giving me that bad look or whatever, I just walk by and I just like like this, like fucking, I want to treat you that, like who the hell you think you are. And it's also so sad that like they have this culture of staring at foreigners without is most of the time. For me, it's just point blank staring, no smile whatsoever. They stare at you like a piece of shit. It's happened to me most of the time, especially in the countryside, where here I'm staying in Long An, because there are no foreigners, so I understand that. But sometimes pisses me off, man. And I mean, it's just like 24/7. Like even if I try to get the heck out of my house and want to go and grab a cup of coffee, and if I'm driving my motorbike, I get a lot of stares, and it's not like smile stares. They'll just fucking look at you, and they do that with intention. And especially the women, the Vietnamese women, they do that because they want to make you feel uncomfortable. So I don't know what kind of culture it is out here, but it's definitely not a good culture. You do that in states, Even if you do that back home, staring at someone like that with a dead stare or with a hateful eye stare, you would be confronted. You would be confronted and you would fall into some problem over there. I mean, they can call the cops, you know what I mean? But there are certain things which you cannot change. But I'm trying to work on this by making this video, okay? I don't want to make it too long. And yeah, I mean, also especially in the if you want to go and talk to a Vietnamese girl down in District One and Walking Street and all that, maybe Saturday night or something. You should see these couple of these young Vietnamese girls. They got the looks, they got the beauty, but their attitude, man, is really shit. They'll roll their eyes up and they don't want to look at you. They pretend that you don't fucking exist. Yeah, I mean, it's just horrible. I mean, I've had this encounter in Ho Chi Minh in Hanoi. Yeah, so if you're a black dude, if you have brown skin, dark brown skin, if you're from India, you need to realize the reality. Okay, so I hope the media starts addressing this, because the Vietnamese media, they hardly talk about these sensitive issues. They don't talk about racism, they don't talk about racial profiling problems here in Vietnam. It's just that it's inside the society so much here in Vietnam, which is very, frankly speaking, very disgusting and very scary. So I hope things change from time. So yeah, man. I mean, if you're a black dude, or if you have dark brown skin, if you're a person of color, I feel you, man. I feel you. I know what you go through every day of your life here in Vietnam. I'm not saying most of the time I get bad experiences, but majority of the times I do get racially profiled. And and I love my skin color. I'm a person of color. I love my skin. I wouldn't change a dime for this. I love it. There are definitely other better countries which are more multicultural, like Singapore, Malaysia. But I haven't given up on Vietnam, because I love Vietnam. I love the Vietnamese people. Indian people back home in my country love Vietnam. So let's try to make it work. Yeah. So yeah, I hope you guys found this video to be insightful. And yeah, looking forward for the trolls and haters and the justifiers to start commenting below. But yeah, this is the reality. And go by certain YouTube videos, like maybe this dude called as Global Crazy, or I don't know, that black dude. But I really admire that guy. He talks about the reality. He's been to Cambodia, he's been to Philippines, Vietnam, and he addresses also racism topics. So I can relate to that, and that was one reason also why I decided to make this video. So yeah, if you like watching this video, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to start a successful online business, I'm going to keep a link down in the description below for you to get access to money making opportunities. Yeah, so with that being said, you guys have a great day. Peace out. And bye bye.